All right. Yangjie Xu, everybody. Yangjie, thanks so much, man. Dude, I really appreciate you coming by. As you know, I've been trying to basically just gather more content and put it out there, because my whole spiel, you once told me that you feel like I'm more of like a life coach headed direction.
Yep.
And I think that's true in one way, just because I like to. How's the volume?
It sounds good. Sounds good. Very good.
Okay. When you speak, make sure you get up in this. If you feel like chilling back,
okay.
It's like, feel free to adjust it however you want. But yeah, man, I really appreciate that.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. What makes you say that? Like you get the life coach vibe off me?
I think we hung out a few times. It sounds like what you're trying to do is really bringing in a lot more positivity to life. 100%. So I've seen some of your demo clips. It's really about like just being optimistic and just living up your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important because people forget that, right? Every day we wake up and we kind of just go about our stuff, but just keeping a positive attitude, constant reminder, it just really helps with everything.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And you're absolutely right. That's what I feel. That's what I feel deep down, is that I feel like the content that I provide, or at least what I try to provide, is got to be some type of informative, but then also I like to keep it entertaining, because that's just the way that I like to learn too. Do you watch the Joe Rogan podcast at all?
I don't.
Okay. Have you heard of it?
I heard about it. Heard good things about it.
Check it out, man. Check it out. I think you'll like it. Max from RSD.
That sounds familiar.
Yes. Yeah. He talks about Joe Rogan's podcast a lot, and what Joe Rogan's podcast is all about is just what I think that I try to provide is information in an entertaining way, because I feel like that's the best way to get across to people, and that's the way that I like to learn information as well. But I wanted to have you, because you're an interesting cat yourself, man. One story in particular that I was enjoying is that you were working somewhere and then decided to quit and then start your own thing. What led to, like, what is that thought process? Is it kind of scary? What is the thought process behind that?
It was very scary at first. I remember I was working in my job, which was the field that I wanted to be in, ever since I knew about it in college. I worked in it about for 3 years, and it wasn't the same job, but it was the same industry. But my last year, I just felt like I could be doing something a lot more than what I was doing. Like when you kind of just keep doing the things that you don't want to do, you realize it sooner or later. It wasn't like a overnight kind of thing, right? Thankfully, I mean,
oh man, that's hilarious. That's good, dude. I like that.
Otherwise, it'll be way too impulsive to make a decision that way. But it was. So
you felt it.
I felt it, and it just kept feeling stronger and stronger. Just as time goes on, and you just kind of realize you don't want to be doing or feeling that for the rest of your life. Yeah. So you just gotta take that risk, and that's kind of what I did, and I don't think I regret it.
Yeah. Cool, man. I give you like so much props, because there's a lot of people, including myself, that are risk adverse. Risk adverse. Like I'm not a gambler. I don't like to take big risks. I'm more of a small, calculated risk type of fellow. Like if I'm taking a risk, it's not like this huge, gigantic risk. And I wish, and that's something that I admire about you, because I wish I was a little bit more able to take those bigger risks. And honestly, yours sounded pretty calculated when you talk about it as well, because you were in a job, you were unhappy, and you were constantly feeling this. So it wasn't just like on a whim. You had some time to think about it.
Right. So I had a little side hustle too when I was, in my full-time job, which kind of gave me some confidence in just, making money on your own. And I think that's very important because otherwise it would be a big risk for me, right? It was, it would be just jumping from a full-time job to almost absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But I had a little bit of just skills on making my own money, and I thought I could take that a little further. Without that, I don't think I would have the full confidence of doing what I did.
Yeah. What was your side hustle, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I sell wedding suits on weekends.
That's right. That's right. I remember that. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got, I mean, fuck, like, where did you get the idea to do that? Like, where does this shit pop up in your head? Like,
Yeah. I think I always liked making money.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, fully to, like, how I could do it when I was, in college or just working my full-time job. But I always knew that I wanted that financial freedom. I just never knew explicitly. But then one of my friends, he's an entrepreneur himself, side hustle, and he used to sell suits. And one day, we were supposed to hang out and grab drinks. And then, I tagged along, and he was like, Yangjie, do you want to just, hang out with me while I try to sell these suits to this wedding group? And then I was like, yeah, what can I lose? It's early in the day.
Sure.
And then I went on, and then he made his sales appointment. It was like, 10 firefighters getting wedding suits.
Oh.
And then I watched all of them get suited up, took about an hour or so. And then when my friend actually got done with the sale, I was like, hey, how much did you make off that? And then he told me. And I was like, I think I could do that too. I want to do it.
Yeah.
So that was about 3 years ago. So I did suits for about, some time afterwards, but now it's not my thing anymore. Just kind of evolved into something else, but I thought it was a great experience.
Yeah. It's interesting when I hear entrepreneurs say they like making money. That's always interesting to me because I just think that money is something that's so universal. Like, if you live in modern society, you have to earn money. But the idea of liking to make money is something that I hear from entrepreneurs specifically. Like, I like to make money. What is it about money that you like? Like, is it that you enjoy doing the work and then receiving the reward? Or is it the end goal of just receiving the reward and what you can do with that reward, as money as a resource?
I think there's a lot of aspects to it. I can't really pinpoint what really draws my motivation to make money. I know there's a few factors. I mean, financial freedom. I mean, as much of a cliche as it is, just being able to have choices in life, right? Being able to have options, and I think that's what money could bring you to a big extent. I don't believe that it could buy you happiness, but I think it has something to do with just being happy. I mean, I think being free is a big part of being happy.
Yeah.
But you also got to find your own, happiness as well. So I think it's probably like half the picture.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I feel so much better when I'm making money, when I'm making more money. I just feel so much more like confidence. And I think because or I know that I have the resources in order to do things in my life that I want to do. And I think that comes along with having that financial freedom. To get to that place where you're just like, I don't need to worry about money anymore, must be a fantastic feeling. It's just like, and I don't know, like I feel like everybody has that number of when you will be considered financially free.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What number would you say that's for you?
I don't think I have a number.
No?
As long as it keeps coming, and as long as you keep it coming and you would have the time on your side, right? I mean, ultimately it's what you could do with your time, right? I think that's the biggest thing to me, is just having time and having the freedom to do whatever you want with it. So I don't really have a big number in my head, but as long as
I hear you.
The stream keeps coming so that you have options to spend your time.
Right. Right. Yeah, because if you're so like if you like to make money and you're so fucking busy with your business that you've created that you're just constantly working, then what is that money doing for you? You know, especially going into the perspective like you have, like you want time, like you want to free up time to do things. Do you like to travel or?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I can only imagine. I haven't really had the opportunity to, but I know what you're saying. It's like you don't want to be so actively involved in making money, then to the point that you don't even have time to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
So I really got interested in just the point of having passive income. So basically, I think there's a lot of opportunities out there now with the internet. It's that you can just build up a system, which takes work in the beginning. It'll probably take it still is work when it keeps going, but then the curve becomes just not as steep for the amount of work that you have to put in. So to me, that really intrigued me, and you just put in the work, and you can afford to just take the time off later while you're still making money.
Yeah, I just had my friend in here, and he's big into real estate, and he was talking about how he had built a house, and like he bought this property which was just garbage, and he kind of just tore it down essentially and built a new house on this beautiful piece of property and made it into a vacation home where people could just rent out that space. And he's like, yeah, it's earning considerable income, and I put in all the work already, so now that project is complete, now it can just give me the passive income essentially. So I was like, man, that's great. I think real estate's a really great way to get that passive income. But he's pretty smart in real estate, so thinking about how it can help myself, it's like, what are some ways that I can develop this passive income? Because right now I work a 9 to 5, so I have to go to work in order to get paid. I love to do this, but this isn't generating any income yet. I would love to find a way where I can generate income off this, whether it's like, I don't know, getting sponsorships or getting followers, and then providing some type of service to my followers that they would be interested in buying my services or products. So that's kind of interesting to me. Are there any ideas that you have? Any visions? You start off selling suits, and then your current business right now is you buy stuff from overseas, and then you sell it.
Yep.
Do you have any visions about what Yangjie Xu wants to do?
You mean ultimately?
Yeah.
Or ultimately, I actually don't. I mean, this is
Not yet.
This is something that that it's in the moment, right? Like I'm really interested in just taking this the fullest at the moment.
Good.
I think that's kind of the beauty about like just life. Like you could keep learning, you could keep doing new things. You don't have to end at like a certain project or whatever. So at this time, this is what excites me. It's like I learn about marketing, I learn about sales, building your own websites, and almost all aspects of the business I would have to spend time each day to take care of it. So I think it's a good lesson, and just being able to take care of your own business, that's it could translate into almost anything.
You're
but
right.
Ultimately, I do not know what I want to do just yet. I think it's always good to keep a little mystery, in life, right? You don't want to plan everything out, and you just see what comes up and what strikes you.
I get you big time, man. Yeah, I was always so fascinated, man, because I love the fact that we can get together, we can talk about business, and you're always like sharing information with me, and I love it. You're always telling me, hey man, you should, like, you're always giving me ideas. I love that so much because I like to surround myself with people who are on the up and up, so to speak.
For sure.
And you're definitely one of those people, and that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast. so we talked about you love to make money, or you like making money. You find it interesting. I didn't have any really set questions that I came in here with, but I just kind of wanted to have you in here and have this conversation just kind of flow wherever it may. But let's talk a little bit about like high school.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about high school. I like going back to this because it's so strange, man, because when I think about myself in high school, it's like the person that I am now, like 10, 12 years later, like I'm not even the same person as who I was in high school. And just to see like the development of myself is so fascinating. And then to see the development of you is so fascinating. What did you do? Were there any books that you read? Were there people that you had to meet? Were there YouTube videos that you had to see that kind of prompted the business? Because were you like this in high school? Did you like making money in high school?
No, I was completely, well, I was not exposed to making money in high school. We just didn't really have the information and resources that
SG, shout out to SG.
Yep, Matadors. No, I never had the idea. I've always seen, just very, very well off people, and I'm just like, man, I wish that was me someday. And that those were the only exposures I got to just being well off sometime later on in life. But no, I could not have seen where I could have gone from where I was in high school. I was the very I didn't do too well in school, and I didn't really have direction. But I knew, I've always liked to have fun. I mean, I think that's something good too, because you gotta know what you like, right? Even though, like, you know that you love to have a good time, so you kind of you work to have a good time, and then it means something, because you're willing to work for what means well to you, right? So I think it's something. Just kind of focus on what you like. That's very important. No matter if it's,
I agree 100%.
Just having fun, or being able to travel, just having some motivation like that. I think that would drive you to work and make money. That's what makes it for me.
Yeah. I have a whiteboard right behind this wall right here that says do things that move towards things that make your eyes light up. And I think that's very important, because if you can remember back to when you were working that 9-to-5 job, do you recall people almost being like dull and almost like zombie-like, with like no energy or enthusiasm? Can you recall people like that at your office?
I could, and then there were also very motivated people too, which I admire. But just for myself, I did not feel motivated, because I knew what I kind of had an idea of what I wanted, which I wanted freedom, and I wanted financial freedom. And I know just going to that job is not going to get me there. I could be here working on my life, and I would not.
Did you feel like a zombie when you were at that place?
To a point. I didn't
just like come in, do the same old thing, 9-to-5, very robotic, didn't get to express your creativity.
Right.
Didn't get to reach your full potential. You felt like you had more to give.
I did. I
bet there's a ton of fucking people like that. I know that there is, for sure. For sure, there's a ton of people. But again, I think it comes down to people who actually take the time to put in the work in order to make their dreams come true, and that involves risk.
Yep.
And a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are afraid to take risks. This is true. So, dude, you're doing it. You're doing it.
Still at it.
You're still at it, but you're in the process. And then just in my last podcast, we're talking about a saying where luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And this is cool because what you're doing right now is you're preparing because you're putting in the work. You're learning the marketing. You're learning the sales. You're doing the work. So that's all your preparation. And then when an opportunity comes up, you're more likely to have more opportunities, just statistically speaking, because we're talking right now. Maybe there's an idea that pops up. Maybe there's an opportunity where we can do business. You're always inviting me out to go and, network and do things. You're always, you're moving, you're on the go. So you're going to find, I'm sure of it, like an opportunity that's just real solid. And because you've already done all the prep work for that, then people will say that you're lucky. Oh shit, Yangjie's a millionaire now. Oh shit, he got lucky. Well, kind of, I guess, because if you're basing it off that formula where luck equals preparation and where luck is where preparation meets opportunity, well then, that's awesome. That's awesome, man.
I think there's a lot of ways to make money. Some unintentional, some intentional. You just have to be really good at what you're doing, or at least very, very motivated about what you're doing. For example, I think what you're doing here is, it's great because you have an audience that could share the same perspective as you, and that's very key to having your own business, because you just got to find the people who aligns with you. Yeah. And as long as you have that, that's a good start, and you could definitely make a business out of something you love.
Yeah. Man, this ideally would be my ideal goal. Is that I seen this marketing advertisement on YouTube where it says that 1,000 followers, that you just need 1,000 solid followers who are just down for you, who are just anything that you say, they're just like, yeah, you're right. Any merchandise or products that you put out, they're just gonna buy it. So 1,000 of those, and he explained in this video, if you have 1,000 followers and then you put out a product or a service once a quarter, so once a quarter throughout the year, so 4 times a year, and you put it out for like $20 or whatever, then you're making $20,000 a quarter, because $20 times the 1,000 followers that are just going to buy whatever that you're selling will purchase the product or purchase the service. So ideally, that would be one way where I can earn income, because I would be doing this. I'd be interacting with people who I want to interact with, and spreading information that is positive and that is informative and that is entertaining. So it's a real cool combination of everything that I want in my life. I'd be earning the money, I'd be doing the thing that I want to be doing, and I'd be seeing the people that I want to be seeing. So it's like, that's ideally the way that I would see, that I would like to make money.
Exactly. I think that's what a good blogger is. I'm sure we've talked about blogging before. Yeah. It's basically if you can get an audience to just align with what you're thinking, and they feel what you're thinking, and they're really interested in just knowing more about you and what you have to say about things that you're interested in. That's what bloggers do. A lot of I do have salespeople, unpaid salespeople, commission-only salespeople from my website, and they blog and they really just promote the products that they're really interested in. Which it's more than what I can put into words, because when they're interested in something, they can just put it into words that that does so much better than my own product descriptions, right? So if you actually have a platform that you do now, and you just build up your audience, I think this would be a great way for you to promote anything that you believe in.
Exactly. And then also too, like the guests that I have on, well, say for example you, like my audience is so small right now, but as it continues to get bigger, well then I'll be able to provide more value to the people that I'm having on the podcast, because then, you know, maybe I can shift some followers their way, or promote their book, or promote their products, or promote their service, or anything like that. And there's just so many cool things that are going on right now in the world and that people are doing. And I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of the movement to where people are getting the idea of, hey, I could do that too. I could do that too. There's people who are doing it. I could do that too. And again, we're reference the podcast that, you know, I just did with my buddy Justin. We're talking about, like, you are who your friends are. You are who your friends are. So if you're hanging around people who are not doing so well, chances are you're not doing so well. But if you're hanging around people who are doing well, then chances are you're going to be doing well. It's just kind of, you just inhabit those traits. You inhabit their habits. You inhabit their ideas. So I love this because now I get to consistently hang out with people who are on the up and up. Like, I'm not going to have somebody on that I don't think is interesting, or is not, you know, got some story or some thing going on about them that's not going to provide any benefit. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm still getting used to all this shit too, you know. So I'm trying to build up my value so that I could push my value out there. And I'm kind of just like navigating the maze and trying to find my voice and trying to find my audience. You know,
I think we've all been there and done that too. You know, we all start somewhere. With my suit company, when I first started selling suits, we barely had any customers, and that was what we had to just build from zero to what it was, what, you know, we got to, which was, you know, a very it was sizable, you know, to just have an income to live off of. But I think we all start somewhere. I think my most recent project was to start a meetup group, which happened about a month ago.
Yeah.
Now it has about 50 people in there.
Oh man, look at you.
Yeah.
I gotta come to one.
You have to.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people who are doing almost the same stuff that we are. We're all trying to start something.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm very glad I started that. It's almost the same thing as this, except, you know, it's not as, you know, formal, and I can't broadcast anything. But it's something. I like starting something, you know, just see where it takes you. So it's just the beauty of just getting started.
Yeah, you're a creator, and I think that entrepreneurial people are creators. They like to build things. They like to create stuff, and it's so cool, man. Because when we're younger, we're really creative. We're not drawing on things. We're, you know, singing weird things and have a very free spirit, but as time goes on, you kind of get like trained to go to school and get good at math and get good at English and get good at history, textbook shit. But the creativity kind of goes out the window until, and I think it's very important for people like yourself to bring that back. And I think my camera stopped, so I think I'm gonna pause for a second and then do. Oh yes,
creativity.
Creativity and the creative process. And I think it's important for people like you, like yourself, in order to experience that creativity consistently, because creativity, I just feel like it allows you to have control in your life. You know, there's a study, and I forget where I heard this, but I think it was on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he was interviewing a war journalist by the name of Sebastian Junger, who wrote the book Tribal or something of the sort. And anyways, he was saying that, and I think it was him, but I might be wrong, but he was saying that people with PTSD, soldiers with post-traumatic stress disorder, were mainly people who were kind of like being told what to do, like, hey, you go kick down that door, because there was amount of uncertainty that you were like not in control of your life, as opposed to people who were in like special ops or Navy SEALs who are like, this is what we're doing. We know exactly what we're doing. And kind of relating that back to creativity, it's like, oh, okay, I am creating this. Like, I am in control of this. And I think that when you're in control of your life, you just feel so much more better. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. I think there's a lot of benefits of creativity, and there's also a lot of benefits in being structured. I like creativity because it allows you to just think of easier ways of doing things. I'm a minimalist, so I like getting to the point with less work. That's the ultimate goal. And that's the philosophy I have with life, with business. But being structured, not only do you have to do what you're told, but you also have to convince your manager or the people who are telling you what to do that there is a better way. And a lot of times they don't recognize that because they just want to do it the same way.
Right. It's just easier. Let's just do it the same way that it's been done.
Yeah. And there's two things I kind of get scared of in life. One is boredom, and then the other one is, I forgot what that word was, but it's something related to boredom. And it just gets boring. It's like robotic, like you said. It's like, I don't want to keep doing this. Like, I just can't wait till I get off and do something that I want to do. Right? Yeah. So, that was a big motivation for me in the corporate job. Don't get me wrong. I think there's I've had a great experience, in some parts of my 3 years in corporate. Especially when I get to be creative myself. It just really depends on who you work with. I just did not want to take the chance with, my next manager anymore. So, I think, so.
Yeah. Working at where I work at right now, I really enjoy it, man. I mean, it's a 9 to 5, but all my team essentially works remote. Mm-hmm. So they're in different parts of the nation, not at the corporate office. I'm like the only one from my team at the corporate office. So that gives me a lot of autonomy and creativity over my work in order to get it done however I want to get it done. And I just love having the autonomy to do what I need to do in the way that I'd like to do it. Yep. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. So I'm very blessed to have that position. But if I had $10 million, would I still be there? No, I wouldn't. Wouldn't be there. I'd be investing a lot more money into this because this is what I like doing. I like putting out information to help people make educated decisions. That's just what I like to do. Because for whatever reason, when I was in high school, like you said, I just didn't have the resources in order to do the things that I wanted to do. And a lot of it is from my part. I'm sure I could have searched a little bit harder, whether it's being in some type of club or a debate club or something along those lines. But growing up kind of like how we grew up, like in the San Gabriel environment, it's like, talk about robotic. It's like you're just like kind of going through the same thing day in and day out. And when you're so young, you're not even aware of like what's going on. You know what I mean? And I don't know where I was going with this, but I think it was I forget where I was going with this, but I didn't realize that I enjoy sharing information to help people make educated decisions, because once I learned that you are who you hang around with, then I started to increase my knowledge. And then once I started to increase my knowledge and actually start applying the knowledge, because they say that knowledge without application is useless. Yep. But once I started applying that knowledge and started getting good grades in community college, I went to Pasadena City College, and I started getting good grades. I'm like, holy shit, I'm actually pretty smart. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. I realized that I'm actually pretty smart. Just people coming up to me and asking me like questions about how to do certain math problems and stuff. I'm like, no way, dude. I failed like badly math. I just like graduated with knowing how to maybe like add and subtract fractions, so it was just very rudimentary mathematical skills that I graduated with for sure. Like I had to start all over when I went to PCC, like learning how to add and subtract fractions again. But once I got good at that, I was like, whoa, I'm actually smart. And and once people started like asking me how to do these problems, I enjoyed teaching people. And I was like, whoa, you really have, like, school is great to check out different things that you're good at, because it gives you opportunity to study different subjects or be involved in different clubs. So it gives you like opportunity to check out what you're good at. And I think that's one thing that's really good about school, and to meet people as well. But if I had $10 million, I wouldn't be where I currently am with the 9 to 5. I like doing this because essentially this is what we're doing. We're kind of like teaching or sharing information that we've acquired at the ripe age of 29, 30. How old are you?
I'm 30 now, yep.
30? 30 years old. Like, 30 years old. Like, I'm like this, man. I'm like on it right now. Especially, like, doing this stuff, like, it just lights me up. And when you're younger, you just don't really understand that, like you said, you got to do the things that you like. You got to find what makes you happy. And if you're stuck seeking other people's approval, say for example like your mom or your dad or a girlfriend who tell you to become an accountant, and you really don't want to be an accountant, that's a really sad proposition.
That would be. I think going back to what you said too, I think college was a great time to just find, what you're into. I think as much as it's still a structured community institution, you still do have, a lot more freedom than you did in high school. Yeah. I love just being able to pick my own classes, and I feel like, it feels exciting to just go into a class almost every time, because you just don't know what you're gonna learn, what's in that syllabus. Even though it's, it's still limited, it's still like you still are limited to the materials that's gonna be taught to you. Sure. But just going into different topics, different subjects, it was exciting. I think you can kind of relate it to just starting your own business. Just, you start your own business every time it's like a new class. Every new business is like a new class. And you just don't know what you're going to take away from it because you don't have a syllabus. You make your own. So it's kind of how I look at it. And it kind of brings back that excitement for me, just being in a new classroom every semester again.
Wow, that's cool. That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, so, it was interesting that you brought it up. That was something that I could relate to.
Yeah. And I think that what you're doing by building your business, learning how to do marketing and learning how to do sales, and then I'm sure that you'll be able to learn different aspects of business as you go along, maybe even management, like when you're talking about, your sales team or what have you. You're building.
Yep.
We're building skills, and we're learning how to apply those skills. And I think that's super important, because in an age where people are getting famous and getting a lot of money off really stupid things, like, have you ever had like we were talking about this on the last podcast too, there's so many parallels. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be fucking beating a dead horse for the rest of this fucking project. But because there's so much, like, this is so true. Do you know who Bad Baddie is on Instagram, or Little Tay?
Yes, I heard about her.
Yeah, just Little Tay or Bad Baddie?
Little Tay.
Little Tay.
Yeah, just something about her. I haven't seen the whole video. But
so Little Tay is I believe she's Canadian. I might be wrong, but she's like a 10, 11-year-old little girl who's like, what? I'm balling on you. Tossing money in the air, standing in front of Range Rovers. And this is how she is basically built her audience.
Right.
Because she's targeting and taking advantage of people of us who are in the consumer age. We just want to consume everything, like entertainment. And good for her. She's doing her thing, but like the impact that she has is now making 10, 11-year-olds want to do that as well without understanding the process of building, the process of learning skills and then applying those skills. So, you know, it's crazy. Or the bad baddie is the girl, you ever heard this saying, cash me outside? You ever heard that saying? Cash me outside.
Have not.
Okay. Basically, this girl was on a TV show, Maury or Dr. Phil or something of the sort. And she wanted to, like, if you ever say, like, when you say cash me out, like, catch me outside because we're going to fight. So basically, that's what she was saying. But she's, like, from the South or something. So she's like, cash me outside.
Okay. That's a very sophisticated way
very sophisticated way of saying it. And but now she has like 14 million Instagram followers. So she's balling now because there's a bunch of companies that want to get behind her in order to use her platform in order to promote or, you know, or do whatever. So, but like you just get like if you look at her Instagram prior, from what I've seen, there's no process of building. There's no process of like, they'll see, when people look at my Instagram, they'll see a slow progression of Lucky Brain episode 1, 2, 3, 4. So they'll see the progress. And then one day, hopefully, when I blow, they'll be like, oh, he's put in the work. So it's kind of like the billionaires or millionaires who lose everything and then are able to get it right back because they understand the process of building.
Yep.
When these people lose everything, they won't understand, in my opinion, the process of what it is to get back to that position. And I think that's a very slippery slope to navigate, because if you're influencing people like that in order to be famous. I heard something that when you ask a little kid what do they want to be when they grow up, they say famous. What is famous? What do you want to be famous for? They just say famous because they see Bad Baddie or Little Tay. So it's just a very interesting but disturbing concept to know that you can just get famous off a word or a phrase or a kind of like an act. You know?
I think so. I think, just being famous there's so many sides to it, right? You could be famous for good things. You could be famous for bad things. I think it's just the videos that you talked about earlier. I don't think, there was a process in building up the videos, but it's more of just the expression of the character's character.
Sure.
And it's really I guess it's pretty hard to understand, but when they express it, it's people understand it and people could just identify themselves with it.
It's crazy though.
Yeah.
That people could identify with that and relate to that, like.
Yeah, I think there's actually a lot of unique personalities out there that you can just express yourself with, and people is gonna identify it with you.
That makes sense.
I think there's some part of that in each of us. We're good and interested in different things that we're really like strongly passionate about, and if you're able to express that just in video, even in extreme cases like Lil Tay, that's a good way to get yourself out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm so not a hater, so it bothers me to be like, damn, like feel a little bit animosity of like, hey, what you're doing is, I'm hating on it a little bit, but like you found a way in order to basically promote yourself and become successful in a certain way, have the recognition and the money, and I just can't hate on that, because it's like, like that's so cool. Like, man, it's really, it's good for her.
Yep.
That's what it is, But outside of that, man, what else has been going on, dude? Like, yeah, what's new with you? Did you end up going to EDC or anything?
I did not know. I regretted it.
Yeah.
Definitely not gonna miss that next year.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Why do you regret it?
it's just last minute FOMO. You know, just seeing everybody on your feed, on your Facebook. You can't even cover it up. It's like you keep hiding these notifications, but they just keep coming up, right? It's like, okay, it's like you can't deny like what you like doing. So I'm not gonna try that next year.
Yeah.
But
Why'd you end up not going?
because I actually went the weekend after Memorial Day weekend, last weekend. That was a planned trip, so I didn't want to go back to back. And if I did
To
go
Vegas? You went to Vegas?
to Vegas,
Oh.
yeah, and I got a sick sunburn too. So
Oh,
I mean,
yeah?
I just recovering from that. I got a cold with the sunburn. That's
Wow.
ironic.
Yeah.
But no, it's just don't deny what you like doing, and if you have the means to do it, just go and do it. I
Yeah.
think that's a good lesson to learn from
Yeah.
my attendance for EDC.
Yeah. Yeah. EDC's too much for me now, man. Honestly, like,
Oh, it is tiring, dude.
it is so tiring. It is so tiring, man. It's like, wow, you're walking around for like 3 days and you're just like going ham, going hard, dancing, and then just all, like being exposed to everything. But dude, it's so amazing. Like, it's so, like, you don't get an experience like that unless you go to an event like EDC.
I recommend going to EDC. You know,
At least
to,
once.
To
At least
everyone
once.
watching, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. I started going about 10 years ago. Still going. It's just, you know, it's a great place to be.
Yeah.
And just the visuals, the environment. So.
Yeah. You have any stories that you'd like to share? I'd like to share one.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was I forgot what year this was, but it was in Vegas, and then there was this like purple dinosaur, like float up purple dinosaur, kind of just walking around,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of walked up to it. And I'm like feeling it. I'm like what is this? What is this? It's so funny, man. But you know, you don't get those like experiences. And then there was this really cool like boombox, a mobile boombox,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just rolling around, just bumping tunes. It's like, what? Like, out of nowhere, you're walking and you're not near a stage, but all of a sudden you just see this glowing like neon boombox vehicle with people on top of it and people and a DJ right inside of it. It was like a boombox with the cassette player in the middle.
Yep.
But where the cassette player would be was a person actually DJing. So it was so cool. And then one year I seen like this parade, like a ship just like pass by, like this parade. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then the fireworks.
Have you seen the fire-breathing octopuses?
Yep, the fire-breathing octopuses.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just walking by and suddenly there's just fire coming out. But I mean, I hope they planned it in a way that, you know, people won't get burned. It seemed, you know, people were pretty good at dodging it. So yeah. Yeah.
The way that you said that was fucking hilarious.
You find out about yourself, you know, in these things, and
Yeah.
just your ability for survival, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, you don't get an experience like that unless you go to like an event like EDC. It's so crazy. And then one time I seen this dude just like laid out, and he had a gash like the size of my finger, like just bam right on his face, and he was just like, it wasn't bleeding like profusely or anything, which was crazy, but he was like laid out and he had just like gash on his face. I'm like, whoa. And then there was this another time where people were like this was at the Coliseum, and they were just like getting trampled coming down the pathway in order to get to the ground level, and they were just like getting trampled. I'm like, what is going on? Because there's so much chaos that's going on and so many things that are going on. They're not like well equipped, well staffed to handle these things. So it's like dangerous. So you get to learn about yourself. It's like literally you get to kind of like protect yourself in a way. And then also at the same time, you get to be like vulnerable, like seriously vulnerable at the same time. So it's like, woo! It's like
Yeah.
a whirlwind of just emotions and experience.
Yeah, people are in a different mentality when they're at a festival. It just seems like everyone is for themselves, and well, not in a bad way or anything, but everyone is for themselves at the festivals,
Yeah.
even more so than in real life. And you really just have to watch out for yourself, and you
Yeah.
really just have to, be careful and have fun at the same time. But
Yeah.
no, it's still overall it's a great experience. I mean, I can't really describe how great it is, but I mean, I can say I've been going out for about 10 years, and I'm still going.
Yeah.
So just staying young at heart. I think I can see myself or us, just going along even in our 30s.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't put out the possibility of me going to another EDC because they're just so fun. And I'm a person that's about experiences. And to get that experience, like you have to go to like EDC in order to get the EDC experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but I like going to festivals that are a lot closer.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get the EDC experience, but it's as close as I can come to getting the EDC experience because you're like at a stage. Like me and my friend last year, we went to Hard and we saw Chami. You know that DJ? It's
I heard of him.
Chami, Chami.
Yep.
And it was so cool, man, because we're sitting like in this amphitheater, so we're sitting down on like seats, which are so cool because sometimes you just need to sit down because you're so tired. So you're just sitting down. I have my arms like across two other chairs right here, and then I'm just like, whoa, this feels so amazing. And then Chami comes on and he has these like really cool lavender dark, like not light lavender, but like these dark lavender, dark purple lights that are kind of just like going back and forth, and then the confetti just fucking falls through the sky, and it's just like going like back and forth through these like lights that are so cool. And I'm like, wow, man, I cannot believe what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now that you mentioned it, if you'd rather go to the local events, there's actually quite a few that's gonna be coming up.
Is there?
There's going to be a 2-day event, June 22nd and 23rd. It's going to be at the NOS Center, which is going to be a great venue.
Which one is that?
It's called Energy, just NRG.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go to that for
Nice.
sure. Yeah, I made a promise to myself just to
you
try
go.
to have fun every month. And then there's going to be, have you heard of Zed?
Yeah.
He's going to be at the Historic Museum downtown,
Oh, sweet.
July 3rd.
Sweet.
So that's gonna be pretty crazy too, because that's gonna be
Dope.
as close of an EDC as it was before,
Ah.
right?
So Zed's performing solo?
I think he's probably
A
probably
few
gonna have an
openers or-
openers or something, unless he would do a whole set, and that'd be pretty sick too. I just remember there was one EDC where it was Zed, and it was like right next to all the bleachers where everyone's like going into the Vegas Speedway. And it was probably like 2 a.m, like climax period.
Yeah.
And Zed comes on, everyone goes crazy, and the first thing he played was Zelda, the Nintendo version, and
Dope.
everyone just went crazy.
Yeah.
It was just a little 2D music, but it was just crazy.
Yeah.
So that was my memory of
Yeah. Sweet. I was at Hard, not last year, but the year before that. And that's when Pokemon kind of came back. That app, the
Yeah.
Pokemon app. And then Dylan Francis. Yeah, Dylan Francis opened up. You want to be the Pokemon that's inside. Like, so he opened with that and everybody just went crazy. It was so cool.
Yeah.
So these experiences, man, they're just fantastic, and they're very hard to come by.
Yeah. So when they do come back, just take the chance to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man.
don't skip out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yo, Yangjie, we've been talking for about an hour, man. Let's wrap this up, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got any last thoughts? Words, comments?
Not really. I think for just for everyone watching, I think this is a great episode, great series
I thought it was a lot
to
of
just
fun.
keep following.
Mhm.
I thought it was a very natural conversation. It wasn't like just
Scripted.
scripted, right? Then it would just feel a lot more interview type. But no, I love this setup. It's just like very natural. I don't really get in front of the camera too much, and I'm surprised I'm not like too nervous or anything.
Yeah, it's relaxing, right?
It is, and I eventually do want to be on some type of a camera, for my next project or whatever. But we'll see what happens. I think this is a pretty good start for me, and
for sure.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to give people like your Instagram or Facebook, or would you just like prefer to keep that?
I am not a very social media popular person.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I just
right.
Like, if you wanted to promote anything. Or...
Sure. Lately I've actually been working on projects on helping people set up their online stores.
Yeah.
You could just have a website going, selling your own products over Shopify. So I think over Shopify.
Dude, my friend just told me about this on the last podcast.
Yeah, no, it's a great platform.
Cool.
You could literally get a website going in an hour.
Yeah.
Just have your own website, and just start making a side money. So I started doing that about 6 months back.
Mm-hmm.
No, not 6 months back. I've had the website for 6 months before I made any sales because I didn't think it was gonna be a good side hustle, but it turned out to be my full-time hustle now.
Ooh.
If anyone's interested or just would like to know more, just ask questions. I answer a bunch of questions, just like how we are here.
How could they get a hold of you? Or how could they ask you a question?
Feel free to just tag me on this video, and then people could just DM me, or
sure.
I'm sure that we're gonna have a lot of mutual
friends. But you
friends.
have an Instagram, yeah?
I don't have an Instagram.
Oh, you don't have an Instagram?
Yeah.
But you have Facebook. Yeah, so I'll tag you on Facebook because I promote this on Facebook as well. And then, people could reach out to you. Cool, man. Yangjie, appreciate it, brother.
All right, thanks very much, Marty. All right. That didn't feel like an hour.
Woo! Dude, that was fucking dope.
That was cool, man.